There are women who enter your life not to love you, but to test you. They come wrapped in beauty, charm, and emotional warmth, but underneath they are a lesson. A test of your discipline, your emotional control, and your self-worth. And if you fail that test, you lose years, peace of mind, and sometimes yourself. In the modern world, men are taught to chase approval from women. Movies glorify the man who never gives up on her. Society calls persistence romantic. But the truth, the brutal truth, is that persistence often turns a strong man into a desperate one. And the women who thrive on this weakness are not rare. They are everywhere, in dating apps, in offices, in friendships. They don't always look toxic. They often look perfect. But what they want is not love, and it's validation, control, and emotional attention. Psychologists have long warned that certain female archetypes can drain a man's masculine energy. Not because they are evil, but because they are unconscious. They feed off emotion the way fire feeds off oxygen. You think you're helping them, loving them, healing them. But slowly, you become the one who needs healing. In this video, we're going to uncover the 7 types of women every man must avoid before it's too late. This isn't about hate. It's about awareness. Because understanding female psychology isn't just about attraction. It's about protection. Protecting your purpose, your peace, and your inner strength. Every man at some point meets a woman who teaches him a painful truth. Some learn from it. Others never recover. If you don't know these types, you'll end up confusing trauma for love, manipulation for affection, and chaos for passion. So let's begin. Because once you understand these patterns, you'll stop blaming women and start mastering yourself. Part 1. The emotional chameleon. The woman who mirrors you to control you. The first type of woman you must avoid is the emotional chameleon. She appears to be your perfect match. She listens to your stories, finishes your sentences, and makes you believe that destiny brought you together. But what you're really seeing isn't connection, it's mirroring. The emotional chameleon is a master of imitation. She watches you closely, learning your values, your tone, your dreams. She'll say she wants what you want, that she believes in the same future. You'll think you've finally found someone who understands you completely. But in reality, she's reflecting your desires back at you to build emotional dependency. It feels intoxicating because she gives you what no one else has: total acceptance. But here's the trick. Once she senses your emotional investment, the mask starts to slip. Suddenly, she becomes unpredictable. She pulls away when you get closer. She goes cold after a moment of intimacy. You begin to doubt yourself, wondering what you did wrong. That's how she wins. Her power doesn't come from love, it comes from confusion. Because the more uncertain you are, the more you chase her approval. And when you chase, you give her emotional power. Psychologists describe this as intermittent reinforcement, the same method used to train addiction. The chameleon gives you affection, then withdraws it. You keep chasing that first high, the version of her that never existed. The irony: she doesn't always know she's doing it. Many of these women learned to mirror others from childhood, often to gain love from emotionally unavailable parents. So she repeats that pattern, unconsciously creating chaos wherever she goes. But the result for you is the same. Your energy gets drained trying to bring back the woman you met at the beginning, the one who felt like your soulmate. To protect yourself, you must learn to slow down connection. When a woman seems too perfect too fast, ask yourself, is she being genuine or just reflecting me? Real connection takes time. Mirroring happens instantly. The chameleon wants to become you, not to know you. And that's the difference between love and manipulation. If you let her too close too soon, you'll lose your identity trying to keep her illusion alive. Part 2. The validation addict. The woman who never feels enough. The second type of woman to avoid is the validation addict. She's the one who thrives on attention, not intimacy. You'll recognize her by how she talks. Everything revolves around being seen, being praised, being adored. She can't sit in silence because silence means she's not being validated. She posts stories not to share her life, but to confirm she still matters. She flirts with men she has no interest in just to feel alive. She'll tell you she wants something real, but every time you get close to her, she finds a reason to distance herself, because being truly known terrifies her more than being alone. To the untrained eye, she seems confident. Her photos, her energy, her social life, everything screams self-love. But deep down, she's empty. Her identity depends on how others see her. And the moment that attention fades, she feels worthless. This kind of woman can destroy a man's peace without even realizing it, because she will always need more compliments, more reassurance, more effort. And you, the man, will start to feel responsible for her emotional highs and lows. You'll wake up thinking, did I say something wrong? Did I not give enough attention? You'll start managing her feelings instead of living your own life. This is how men lose themselves. The validation addict drains you not because she's cruel, but because she's never satisfied. You could give her the world and she'd still feel unloved. Because the love she's looking for doesn't come from others, it comes from within, and she's never built that foundation. Psychologically, she's addicted to the dopamine rush of external approval. Every like, every text, every compliment acts like a hit, and you, as her partner, become her supplier. The moment you stop feeding that addiction, she starts seeking it elsewhere. That's why many of these women keep multiple men orbiting around them, not to cheat, but to survive emotionally. They need to know they're still desired, even if they don't desire anyone in return. Part 3. The hidden narcissist. The woman who loves herself through you. There is a type of woman who doesn't crave attention in the obvious way. She's not loud. She doesn't post too much. She might even appear humble. But everything she does, every compliment, every story, every smile has one purpose: to make herself the center of emotional gravity. This is the hidden narcissist. She's dangerous not because she's openly manipulative, but because she disguises her control as vulnerability. She will make you feel needed in a way no one ever has before. She'll confide in you, cry to you, make you feel like the only one who understands her. You'll start believing that you're her savior, her safe space. But that's where the trap begins, because the hidden narcissist doesn't love you. She loves the version of herself she sees reflected through your admiration. She feeds off your emotional investment. Every time you reassure her, every time you sacrifice your peace to comfort her, she feels validated, not loved. At first it feels intoxicating. You think you've found a deep emotional bond. You mistake intensity for intimacy. But slowly, you realize she doesn't want solutions. She wants endless sympathy. She doesn't want equality. She wants devotion. And no matter what you do, it's never enough. You'll start noticing a strange pattern. She never apologizes, even when she's wrong. Instead, she finds subtle ways to make you feel guilty, to make you question if you're the problem. Her words might sound gentle, but they're filled with emotional hooks like, I thought you cared about me. You've changed lately. I guess I just can't trust anyone. Each phrase sounds innocent, but each is designed to keep you emotionally submissive. Part 4. The eternal victim, the woman who uses pain as a weapon. Some women wear their pain like a badge of honor. They use their trauma to justify everything, their anger, their manipulation, their inconsistency. These women attract men with empathy. They know how to trigger your protector instinct. You see her sadness and you want to save her. But here's the brutal truth. The eternal victim doesn't want to be saved. She wants to stay broken because her pain gives her power. Every man who's dealt with this type knows the emotional exhaustion that follows. She tells you how every man before you hurt her. She paints herself as the innocent one who never got what she deserved. You believe her because her words sound raw, real, wounded. But slowly, you start noticing something deeper. Every story she tells has the same pattern. She's always the victim, and everyone else is the villain. You start realizing that she doesn't take responsibility. If she lashes out, it's because you triggered her. If she lies, it's because she didn't feel safe. If she cheats, it's because you made her feel unloved. No matter what happens, it's never her fault. And this emotional dynamic becomes your prison. You'll spend months trying to handle her with care, walking on eggshells, constantly adjusting your behavior to avoid hurting her. But that's exactly how she controls you, by making your empathy your weakness. This woman doesn't heal through love. She feeds off pity. She keeps her trauma alive because it keeps the spotlight on her. You'll notice how she dramatizes everything. Every argument becomes an emotional crisis. Every disagreement turns into a betrayal. And if you try to bring logic or calm, she'll accuse you of being cold or uncaring. Part 5. The feminine predator. The woman who sees men as opportunities, not partners. There's a colder kind of woman, harder to spot, more dangerous to engage. She's not emotional, not chaotic, not fragile. She's strategic. The feminine predator doesn't want connection. She wants advancement. She studies men the way hunters study prey. This type of woman appears confident, intelligent, independent, the perfect mix of beauty and ambition. But her relationships are transactional. She measures men not by their character but by their utility. You'll notice she talks about standards, expectations, and what she deserves, but never about what she offers in return. To her, every interaction is a negotiation, emotional, social, or financial. She's mastered the art of seductive diplomacy. She'll flatter you, flirt strategically, make you feel like you're winning her over when in reality, she's calculating what she gains from keeping you hooked. Psychologically, this type often emerges from environments where love was conditional, where affection was earned through performance. She learned early that to survive, she must leverage people, not trust them. So she treats relationships as survival games. The danger is subtle. She'll make you feel like the prize, but slowly, she'll make you prove you deserve her. You'll start chasing her attention, competing for her approval. She'll use your masculine instinct to achieve, to provide, to protect, and turn it into a leash. Her favorite phrase is, "A real man would." And every time you try to be that real man, she raises the bar higher. Not because she respects strength, but because she feeds off your effort. The feminine predator is never satisfied with emotional connection. She's always scanning for the next opportunity. When she finds someone more useful, she detaches instantly. No guilt, no remorse, just replacement. Part 6. The emotionally unavailable. Beauty, the woman who teaches you to chase what you'll never have. There's a woman every man meets at least once in his lifetime. The one who haunts him not because of what she gave, but because of what she withheld. She's the emotionally unavailable beauty. She's the woman whose silence feels magnetic. She's beautiful not just in appearance but in mystery. You can't quite read her, and that unreadability makes you chase her harder. At first, she doesn't do much. She doesn't flirt too openly. She doesn't compliment you much. She lets you initiate everything, the messages, the effort, the emotional labor. And that's where she traps you, because her power doesn't lie in giving. It lies in withholding. Every once in a while, she gives you a small dose of warmth, a glance, a compliment, a memory that feels special, and then she withdraws. She creates distance, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. But you didn't do anything wrong. You were meant to feel uncertain. That's what keeps you addicted. She's mastered the art of emotional scarcity. The less she gives, the more you chase. The less she responds, the more value you attach to her presence. You begin to mistake her indifference for depth. You tell yourself she's just guarded, or she's afraid to love. But that's not true. She simply doesn't have the capacity to connect deeply. She's like a painting, beautiful from afar, but empty when you look behind the canvas. Her past often reveals emotional neglect, betrayal, or heartbreak that closed her heart permanently. And now she uses her detachment as a shield and as bait. Part 7. The manipulative feminine. Mystic. The woman who controls you through spirituality and emotion. The last and perhaps most deceptive type of woman is the manipulative mystic. She's not loud, not dramatic, not obviously toxic. She presents herself as wise, emotionally evolved, even spiritual. She talks about energy, destiny, divine timing, and emotional healing. But behind that calm aura lies control, refined, elegant, and deeply psychological. She doesn't argue, she persuades. She doesn't demand, she suggests. She makes you feel like every decision you make was your idea, when in reality, it was her subtle manipulation that guided you there. She understands emotions like a weaponized psychologist. She senses your insecurities, your hopes, your hidden guilt, and she uses them gently. She'll never raise her voice, but she'll use phrases that trigger your conscience. You're not listening to your intuition. You're too focused on ego. You're not emotionally aligned. And before you realize it, she's made you doubt your own logic. You begin questioning your boundaries, wondering if you're the one being too masculine, too controlling, or too cold. That's her power, psychological inversion. She flips your strength into a flaw, your boundaries into emotional immaturity, your reason into repression. The manipulative mystic uses soft control. She doesn't dominate through aggression. She dominates through emotional guilt, cloaked in love. She tells you she understands you on a soul level, but she also makes you believe that without her, you're not truly awakened. You'll start to censor yourself, trying to fit her idea of conscious love. And slowly you become passive, a man who's lost his edge under the illusion of emotional harmony. But here's the truth. Her spirituality isn't real wisdom. It's control disguised as virtue. She uses emotional language to gain moral authority. And because she never appears aggressive, you can't easily defend yourself without feeling guilty. The final warning: protect your peace or lose yourself. Every man watching this must understand, the world will never warn you about these women because society teaches men to ignore their intuition in the name of love. You're told to fix, to provide, to prove, but not to protect yourself. The truth is, the wrong woman can cost you everything. Not just money, not just time, but your sense of self. And once you lose that, you lose the foundation of your masculinity. You must learn to protect your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. A man who gives his strength to the wrong woman becomes hollow. He starts doubting his purpose, second-guessing his value, and mistaking chaos for passion. But the wise man, the awakened man, doesn't hate women. He studies them. He understands that not all feminine energy is nurturing. Some is devouring. And once you learn to recognize these archetypes, the chameleon, the validation addict, the hidden narcissist, the eternal victim, the feminine predator, the emotionally unavailable beauty, and the manipulative mystic, you stop living in illusion. You begin to see patterns instead of personalities. You stop reacting and start observing. You stop chasing and start choosing. The goal isn't to become cold, it's to become clear. Because clarity is what protects your heart without closing it. Understand this. A woman can either amplify your power or consume it. She can either help you evolve or keep you emotionally enslaved. So before you give your energy, your attention, or your soul, ask yourself one question. Does this connection make me more of who I am or less? If it makes you less, walk away. If it drains your peace, it's not love. If it costs your purpose, it's not worth it. Because in the end, the greatest tragedy isn't losing a woman. It's losing yourself trying to keep the wrong one.